find we a time for frighted peace to pant and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strawns far remote. No more. The thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armored hoofs of hostile paces. Those opposed eyes, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now, in mutual well-beseeming ranks, march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as far as the sepulchre of Christ, whose soldier now, under whose blessed cross we are impressed and engaged to fight, forthwith a power of English shall we levy, whose arms were molded in their mother's womb to chase those pagans in these holy fields, over whose acres walked those blessed feet which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this our purpose is 12-month old, and bootless is to tell you we will go, therefore we meet not now. Then let me hear of you, my gentle cousin Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience.
My liege, this haste was hot in question, and many limits of the charge set down but yesternight, when all athwart there came a post from Wales, loaden with heavy news, whose worst was that the noble Mortimer, leading the men of Herefordshire to fight against the irregular and wild Glendower, was by the rude hands of that Welshman taken, 1,000 of his people butchered, upon whose dead corpse there was such misuse, such beastly, shameless transformation by those Welsh women done, as may not be without much shame retold or spoken of.
It seems then the tidings of this broil break off our business for the Holy Land.
This matched with other did, my gracious lord, for more uneven and unwelcome news came from the north, and thus it did import. On Holy Rood Day, the gallant Hotspur there, young Harry Percy, and brave Archibald, that ever valiant and approved Scot, at Holmdon met, where they did spend a sad and bloody hour. As by discharge of their artillery in shape of likelihood the news was told, for he that brought them at the very heat and pride of their contention did take horse, uncertain of the issue any way.
Here is a dear, a true industrious friend, Sir Walter Blunt, new lighted from his horse, stained with the variation of each soil betwixt that Holmdon and this seat of ours, and he hath brought us smooth and welcome news. The Earl of Douglas is discomfited! 10,000 bold Scots, 22 knights, balked in their own blood, did Sir Walter see on Holmdon's plains. Of prisoners, Hotspur took Mordache, Earl of Fife, and eldest son to Beaton Douglas, the Earls of Athol, of Murray, of Angus, and Menteith. And is this not an honorable spoil, a gallant prize? Huh, cousin, is it not?
In faith, it is a conquest for a prince to boast of.
Hey, there thou makes me sad, and makes me sin and envy, that my lord Northumberland should be father to so blessed a son who is the theme of honor's tongue, amongst a grove the very straightest plant, who is sweet fortune's minion and her pride, whilst I, by looking on the praise of him, see riot and dishonor stain the brow of my young Harry. Oh, that it could be proved that some night-tripping fairy had exchanged in cradle clothes our children where they lay, and called mine Percy his Plantagenet, then would I have his Harry and he mine. But let him from my thoughts. What think you, coz, of this young Percy's pride? The prisoners which he in this adventure hath surprised to his own use he keeps, and tells me I shall have none but Mordache, Earl of Fife.
This is his uncle's teaching. This is Worcester, malevolent to you in all aspects, that teaches him to prune himself and bristle up the crest of youth against your dignity.
But I have sent for him to answer this, and for a while we must break off our business for the Holy Land. Cousin, on Wednesday next our council we will hold at Windsor, so inform the lords. But come yourself with speed to us again, for more is to be said and to be done than out of anger can be uttered.
I will, my liege.
Ah! Now how? What time of day is it, lad?
What the devil hast thou to do with the time of day? If hours were cups of sack, minutes capons, clocks the tons of bawds, and dials the signs of leaping houses, I see no reason why thou should be so superfluous to demand the time of day.
Indeed, you come near me now, Hal. For we that take purses go by the moon and the 7 stars, and not by Phoebus, he, that wandering knight so fair. But I prithee, sweet wag, when thou art king, has God save thy grace, majesty I should say, for grace thou wilt have none.
What, none?
Well, no, by my troth, not so much as will prove to be prologue to an egg and butter.
Well, now then, come roundly. Roundly?
Marry, sweet wag, when thou art king, let not us that are squires of the night's body be called thieves of the day's beauty. Let us be Diana's foresters, gentlemen of the shade, minions of the moon, and let men say we be men of good government, being governed as the sea is by our noble and chaste mistress the moon, under whose countenance we steal.
Thou sayest well, and it holds well too. For the fortune of us that are the moon's men doth ebb and flow like the sea, being governed as the sea is by the moon. As for a proof now, a purse of gold, resolutely snatched on a Monday night, most desperately spent on a Tuesday morning, got with a crying of lay by, and spent with a giving of bring in. Now, as low an ebb as the foot of the ladder, and as high a ridge of the gallows.
Ah! Thou sayest well, lad. And indeed, and is not my hostess of the tavern a most sweet wench?
Well, what the pox have I to do with my hostess of the tavern?
Well, thou hast called her to a reckoning many a time and oft.
Have I ever called thee to pay thy part?
Oh, no. I'll give thee thy due, thou hast paid all there.
Yea, and elsewhere, so far as my coin would stretch, and where would not have used my credit.
And so use it that were it not here apparent that thou art heir apparent. I prithee, shall there be gallows in England when thou art king? Do not thou, when thou art king, hang a thief?
No, thou shalt.
Shall I? Oh, rare! By the Lord, I'll make a brave judge.
Oh, thou judgest falsely already. I mean, thou shalt have the hanging of the thieves, and so become a rare hangman.
Oh, splud. I'm as melancholy as a gib cat, or a lugged bear.
Or an old lion, or a lover's loon.
Oh, thou hast the most unsavory similes, and art indeed the most comparative, rascaliest, sweet young prince. Oh, but how, I prithee, trouble me no more with vanity. I would to God thou and I knew where a commodity of good names were to be bought. An old lord of the council rated me the other day in the street about you, sir, and I regarded him not, but he talked very wisely, but I marked him not, and yet he talked wisely, and in the street, too.
That is well, for wisdom cries out in the street, and no man regards
Ow! Thou hast the most damnable iteration, and art indeed able to corrupt a saint. Oh, thou hast done much harm upon me, Hal. Oh, God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, I knew nothing, and now if a man may speak truly, little better than one of the wicked. Oh! I must give my life over, and I will give it over, and I do not, I am a villain. I'll be damned for never a king's son in Christendom.
Where shall we take purse tomorrow, Jack?
Where thou wilt, lad. Look, I'll make one. And I do not call me a villain and baffle me.
I see a good amendment of life in thee from praying to purse-taking.
Well, Hal, 'tis my vocation, Hal. 'Tis no sin for a man to labor in his vocation. Poins! Oh, now shall we know if Gadshill have set a match. Oh, if men were to be saved by merit, what hole in hell is hot enough for him? This is the most omnipotent villain that ever cried, stand to a true man.
Tomorrow, Ned?
Tomorrow, sweet Hal. What says Monsieur Remorse? What says Sir John Sack and Sugar? Jack,
how agrees the devil in thee about thy soul, that thou soldest him Good Friday last for a cup of Madeira and a cold capon's leg?
Oh, Sir John stands to his word. He was never breaker of proverbs. He will give the devil his due.
Well, then thou art damned for keeping thy word with the devil.
Else ye have been damned for cousining the devil.
But, my lads, tomorrow morning, early 4 o'clock, at Gadshill, there are pilgrims going to Canterbury with rich offerings, and traders riding to London with fat purses. I have visitors for you all. You have horses for yourselves. Gadshill lies tonight in Rochester. I have bespoke supper for us tomorrow night in Eastcheap. We may do it as secure as sleep. If you will go with me, I will stuff your purses full of crowns if you will not. Tarry at home. Be hanged.
Hear ye, Edward. If I tarry at home and go not, I'll hang you for going.
Oh, you will.
How? Wilt thou make one?
Why, Rob, I a thief, not I by my faith.
Oh! There's neither honesty, manhood, nor good fellowship in thee, nor comest thou from the blood royal, if thou not stand for 10 shillings.
Well, once in my days I'll be a madcap.
Well, that's well said.
Well, come what will, I'll tarry at home.
Oh! When thou art king, I'll make a traitor, by the Lord.
I care not.
I prithee, Sir John, leave the prince and me alone. I will lay him down such reasons for this adventure that he shall go.
God give thee the spirit of persuasion, and him the ears for profiting. Farewell. You shall find me in Eastcheap.
Farewell, thou latter spring. Farewell, all howling summer.
Now, my good, sweet,
Nope.
honey
La, la,
lord,
la, 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 la.
ride with us tomorrow. I have a jest to execute. I cannot manage alone. Falstaff, Pilato, Bardolph, and Gadshill shall rob those men that we have already waylaid. Yourself and I shall not be there. And when they have the booty, if you and I do not rob them, cut this head off from my shoulders.
How should we part with them in setting forth?
Well, we'll set forth before or after them and appoint them a place of meeting upon which it is our pleasure to fail. Then will they adventure upon the exploit themselves, which no sooner will they have achieved, but will set upon them.
Yeah, but just like they will know us by our horses, by our habits, and by every other appointment to be ourselves.
Our horses they will not see, I'll tie them in the wood. And our habits they will not see, our visitors we will change after we leave them. And sirrah, I have cases of buckram for the nonce, with which to mask our noted outward garments.
But I doubt it will be too hard for us.
Well, for 2 of them, I know them to be as true-bred cowards as ever turned back. And for the 3rd, if he fight longer than he sees reason, I'll forswear arms. The proof of this will lie in the incomprehensible lies this same fat rogue will tell us when we meet again at supper. How some 30, at least, he fought with. What wards, what blows, what extremities he endured. Oh, and in the reproof of this lies the jest.
Well, I'll go with thee. Provide us all things necessary, and meet me tomorrow night in Eastcheap. There I'll sup. Farewell.
Farewell, my lord.
I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at, by breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapors that did seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holiday, to sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, they wished for come, and nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behavior I throw off, and pay the debt I never promised, by so much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's hopes, and like bright metal on a sullen ground my reformation, glittering o'er my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. Also offend, to make offense a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
My blood hath been too cold and temperate, unapt to stir at these indignities, and you have found me, for accordingly you tread upon my patience. But be sure I will from henceforth rather be myself, mighty and to be feared than my condition, which hath been smooth as oil, soft as young down, and therefore lost that title of respect, which the proud soul ne'er pays but to the proud.
My house, my sovereign liege, little deserves the scourge of greatness to be used on it, and that same greatness, too, which our own hands have helped to make so portly.
Worcester, get
My
thee
lord.
gone, for I do see danger and disobedience in thine eye. Oh, sir, your presence is too bold and peremptory, and majesty might never yet endure the moody frontier of a servant's brow. You have good leave to leave us. When we need your use in council, we will send for you. You were about to speak.
Yea, my good lord. Those prisoners in your highness' name demanded, which Harry Percy here at Holmdon took, were not, as he says, with such strength denied as is delivered to your majesty. Either envy, therefore, or misprision is guilty of this fault, and not my son.
My liege, I did deny no prisoners, but I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint. Leaning on my sword came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed. He was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a pouncet box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and took away again, and as the soldiers bore dead bodies by, he called them untaught names, unmannerly to bring a slovenly, unhandsome corpse betwixt the wind and his nobility. With many a holiday and lady terms he questioned me, amongst the rest demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, smarting with my wounds being cold, to be so pestered with a popinjay, answered indirectly, I know not what. He should or he should not, for he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds and God save the mark. And but for these vile guns, he himself would have been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat, my lord, I answered indirectly, as I said, and I beseech you, let not his report come current for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
The circumstance considered, good my lord, whate'er Lord Harry Percy then had said to such a person, and in such a place, at such a time, with all the rest retold, may reasonably die, and never rise to do him wrong, or any way impeach what then he said, so he unsay it now.
Why, yet he doth deny his prisoners, but with proviso and exception, that we at our own charge shall ransom forth his brother-in-law, the foolish Mortimer, who on my soul hath willfully betrayed the lives of those that he did lead to fight against that great magician, damned Glendower, whose daughter, as we hear, the Earl of March hath lately married. Shall our coffers then be emptied to redeem a traitor home? Shall we buy treason and indent with fears when they have lost and forfeited themselves? No! On the barren mountains let him starve! For I shall never hold that man my friend, who shall ask me for 1 penny cost to ransom home revolted Mortimer.
Revolted Mortimer! He never did fall off, my sovereign liege, but by the chance of war. To prove that true needs no more but one tongue for all those wounds, those mouthed wounds which valiantly he took when on the gentle Severn sedgy bank in single opposition, hand to hand did he confound the best part of an hour in charging hardiment with the great Glendower. Never did bare and rotten policy cover her workings with such deadly wounds, nor never could the noble Mortimer receive so many, and all willingly, than let him not be slandered with revolt.
Thou dost be lying, Percy, thou dost be lying. He never did encounter with Glendower. I tell you, he durst as well have met the devil alone as Owen Glendower for an enemy. Art thou not ashamed? But, sirrah, henceforth let me not hear you speak of Mortimer. Send me your prisoners with the speediest means, or you shall hear in such a kind from me as will displease you. My lord Northumberland, we license your departure with your son. Send us your prisoners, or you will hear of it.
And if the devil come and roar for them, I will not send them. I will after straight, and tell him so, for it will ease my heart, albeit I make a hazard of my head.
What, drunk with choler? Stay, and pause a while. Here comes your uncle.
Speak of Mortimer. Zoons, I will speak with him, and let my soul part from me if I do not join with him. Yea, on his part I'll empty all these veins drop by drop in the dust, but I will lift this downtrod Mortimer as high in the air as this unthankful king, as this ingrate and cankered bowling
Brother, the king hath made your nephew mad.
Who struck this heat up after I was gone?
He will forsooth have all my prisoners. And when I urged the ransom once again of my wife's brother, then his cheek looked pale, and on his face he turned an eye of death, trembling even at the name Mortimer.
I cannot blame him. Was not he proclaimed by Richard the dead is the next of blood?
He was. I heard the proclamation. And it was then when the unhappy king, whose wrongs in us God pardon, did set forth upon his Irish expedition, from whence intercepted did return to be deposed and shortly murdered.
And for whose death we in the world's wide mouth live scandalized and foully spoken
But
of.
soft you, did King Richard then proclaim my brother Edmund Mortimer heir to the crown?
He did. Myself did hear it.
Nay then, I cannot blame his cousin king that wished him on the barren mountain starve, but shall it be that you, that set the crown upon the head of this forgetful man, and for his sake wear the blot of murderous subordination? Oh! Pardon me that I descend so low to show the line and base predicament wherein you range under this subtle king. Shall it be for shame spoken in these days? Or fill up chronicles in times to come that men of your nobility and power did gauge them both in an unjust behalf, as both of you, God pardon it, have done to put down Richard? That sweet, lovely rose, and plant this thorn, this canker bowling broke, and shall it be in further shame discussed that you are fooled, discarded, and shook off by he for whom these shames ye underwent? No. Yet time serves when you may redeem your banished honors and restore yourselves to the good parts of the world again. Therefore I say...
Peace, cousin. Say no more. And now I will unfold to you a secret book, and to your quick conceiving discontents I'll read you matter deep and dangerous, as full of peril and adventurous spirit, as to o'erwalk a current roaring loud on the unsteadfast footing of a spear.
If ye fall in, good night. Sink or swim. Send danger from the east unto the west. So honor cross it from north to south, and let them grapple.
Imagination of some great exploit drives him beyond the bounds of patience.
Oh, by heavens, methinks it were an easy leap to pluck bright honor from the pale-faced moon and pluck up drowned honor by the locks, but out with this half-faced fellowship.
He apprehends a world of figures here, but not the form of what he should attend. Good cousin, give me audience for a while.
I cry you mercy.
Those same noble Scots that are your prisoners.
I'll keep them all. My God, he shall not have a Scot of them. No. If a Scot would save his soul, he shall not. I'll keep them by this hand.
You start away and lend no ear unto my purpose. Those prisoners you shall keep.
Nay, I will. That's flat. He said he would not ransom Mortimer, forbade my tongue to speak of Mortimer, but I will find him. When he lies asleep, and in his ear I'll hollow Mortimer. Nay, I shall have a starling be taught to speak nothing but Mortimer, and give it to him to keep his anger still in motion.
Hear me, cousin, a word.
All studies here I solemnly defy, save how to gall and pinch this Bolingbroke, and that same sword and buckler Prince of Wales. But that I think his father loves him not, and would be glad he met with some mischance. I would have him poisoned with a pot of ale.
Farewell, kinsman. I will talk to you when you are better tempered to attend.
Well, what? Why, in that wasp-stung and impatient mood art thou to break into this woman's mood? Tying thine ear to no tongue but thine own.
Why, look you! I am whipped and scourged with rods, nettled, stung with piss-smears when I hear of this vile politician, Bolingbroke, in Richard's time. Oh, what a candy deal of courtesy this fawning greyhound then did proffer me. Look when his infant fortune came to age, and gentle Harry Percy, and kind cousin, oh, the devil takes his cozeners.
Cousin,
Good uncle, tell your tale. I have done.
Nay, if you have not, To it again, we will stay your leisure.
I have done, in faith.
Then once more, to your Scottish prisoners. Deliver them up without their ransom straight, and make the Douglas son your only mean for powers in Scotland, which for divers reasons, which I will send you written, be assured, shall easily be granted. You, my lord, your son in Scotland, being thus engaged, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate, well-beloved, the Archbishop.
Of York, is it not?
True, who bears hard his brother's death at Bristol, the Lord Scrope.
I smell it! Upon my life it will do well.
Before the game's afoot, thou still let'st slip.
Why, it cannot but choose to be a noble plot, and then the power of Scotland and of York to join with Mortimer.
And so they shall.
In faith, it is exceedingly well aimed.
And 'tis no little reason bids us speed to save our heads by raising of a head. Cousin, farewell. No further go in this than I by letter shall direct your course. When time is ripe, which will be suddenly, I'll steal to Glendower and Lord Mortimer, where you and Douglas and our powers at once, as I shall fashion it, will happily be met, to praise our honors in our own strong arms, which now we hold at much uncertainty.
Farewell, good brother. We shall thrive, I trust.
Uncle, adieu. Oh, let the days be short till fields and blows and groans applaud our sport. Oh.
What ho, Chamberlain?
Good morrow, Master Gadshill. It holds current that I told you yesternight. There is a Franklet in the wild of Kent hath brought 300 marks with him in gold. They are up already and call for eggs and butter. They will away presently.
Sirrah, if they mean not with St. Nicholas's clerks, I'll give thee this neck.
Nay, I'll have none of it. I prithee save that for the hangman.
What talkest thou to me of the hangman? If I hang, I'll make a fat pair of gallows, for if I hang, old Sir John hangs with me. Now knowest, he is no starveling. And with no land-foot rakers, no long-staff sixpenny strikers, no mad mustachio purple-haired mulletworms, but with nobility and tranquility, with burgomasters and great ones such as can hold in, such as would strike sooner than speak, and speak sooner than drink, and drink sooner than pray. Give me your hand. Thou shalt have a share of our purchase, as I am a true man.
Nay, rather give it me, as you are a false thief.
Go to, you money knave.
Shelter! Shelter, I have hid Falstaff's horse, and he frets like a gum to stop it!
Stand close, I am going.
Poins! Poins! Poins and be hanged! Poins!
Peace, you fat guts! What a brawling does thou keep?
Hell, where's Poins?
He's walked up to the top of the hill. I'll go seek him there.
I'm accursed to rob in that thief's company. The rascal hath removed my horse and tied him I know not where. If I walk 4 foot by the square, further a foot, I shall break my wind. Oh. Well, I doubt not but to die a fair death for all this, if I escape hanging for killing that rogue. I have forsworn his company hourly for years, and yet I am still bewitched by that rogue's company. If he hath not given me medicines to make me love him, oh, I'll be hanged. It cannot be else. I have drunk medicines. Oh, Poins! How? Ah, plague upon you both. Bardolph! Pilato! Ah, I'll starve ere I rob a foot further. Whew. And were 'twas good a deed as drink, as turn true man and leave these rogues? I'm the veriest varlet that ever drew with the tooth. 8 miles? Oh! 8 yards of uneven ground is 10 score, and 3 miles of foot for me, and those stony-hearted villains know it well enough. A plague upon it, when thieves cannot be true one to another. Ah! Give me my horse, you rogue! Give me my horse and be hanged!
Peace, you fat guts, lie down! Lie down here close to the ground and list that thou canst hear the tread of traveler.
Have any levers to lift me up again, being down? Blood! I'll not bear my own flesh so far afoot again, for all the corn in my father's exchequer. What a plague mean you to colt me thus?
Oh, villain, thou art not colted. Thou art uncolted!
Good king's son, help me to my horse. Good prince, how?
Oh, out, you fat rogue. Shall I be your ostler?
Hang thyself in thine own heir apparent garters! So I do, against my will!
Oh, 'tis our setter! I know his voice! What news?
Case you! On with your visits! There's money of the king's coming down the hill. 'Tis going to the king's exchequer.
Oh, you lie, you rogue! 'Tis going to the king's tavern!
Make a fall!
To be hanged!
Sirs, you four shall front them in the narrow lane. Ned Poins and I will walk lower. If they escape from your encounter, then they light on us.
How many be there of them?
Some 8 or 10?
Zoons! Shall we not be robbed by them?
What a coward, Sir John Paunch!
Not I, Hal.
We'll leave that to the proof.
Sir John, thy horse is in the hedge. When thou needst him, there shalt thou find him.
Oh! Cannot I strike him now if I should be hanged?
Ned, where are our disguises?
Here, hard by.
My masters. Now. Happy man be his dole, say I. Every man to his business.
Come, neighbors. The boys shall lead our horses down the hill. We'll walk afoot a while and ease our legs.
Strike him! You horse on ratapillars! You bacon-fed knaves! They hate us, youth!
The thieves have bound the true men. Now thou and I could rob these men and go merrily to London. It would be an argument for a week, laughter for a month, and a good jest forever.
Oh, stay close, I hear them coming.
Now come, my masters! Let us share, and then to horse before day. If there not be 2 errant cowards in that prince and Poins, there's no equity stirring. There's no more valor in that Poins than in a wild duck. Good money!
Got with much ease. Now merrily to horse. The thieves are all scattered and possessed with fear. So strongly they dare not meet each other. Away, good Ned. Falstaff sweats to death and lies the lean earth as he walks along. Were it not for laughter, I would much pity him.
The fat rogue!
But for mine own part, my lord, I could be well contented to be there, in the respect of the love I bear your house. He could be contented. Well, why is he not then? In the respect of the love he bears our house, he shows in this. He loves his own barn better than he loves our house. Let me see some more. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. Why, 'tis certain. 'Tis dangerous to sleep, to drink, but I tell you, my lord fool, that out of this nettle, danger, we pluck this flower, safety. The purpose you undertake is dangerous, the friends you have named uncertain, the time itself unsorted, and your whole plot too light for the counterpoise of so great an opposition. Oh, say you so? Say you so? Will I say unto you again that you are a shallow, cowardly hind, and you lie. Why, our plot is as good a plot as ever was laid. What a lack brain is this? Our friends, true and constant, a good plot, good friends, full of expectation, an excellent plot, excellent friends. What a frosty spirited rogue is this? Why, my Lord of York commends the plot and the general course of action. Zoons. And I were now by this man, I could brain him with his lady's fan? Is there not myself, my father, my uncle, my Lord Edmund Mortimer, my Lord of York, and Owen Glendower? Is there not besides the Douglas? Have I not all their letters to meet me in arms by the 9th of next month, and have not some of them set forward already? Hang him. Let him tell the king. We are prepared. I will set forward tonight. How now, Kate? I must leave you within these 2 hours.
Oh, my good lord, why are you thus alone? For what offense have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is it takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep? Why hast thou lost the fresh blood in thy cheeks, and given my treasures and my rights of thee to thick-eyed musing and cursed melancholy? In thy faint slumbers, I by thee have watched, and heard thee murmur tales of iron wars, speak terms of manage to thy bounding steed, cry, courage, to the field. And thou hast talked of sallies and retires, of trenches, tents, of prisoners' ransom, and of soldiers slain, and all the currents of a heady fight. Thy spirit within thee hath been so at war that beads of sweat have stood upon thy brow like bubbles in a late disturbed stream. And in thy face strange motions have appeared, such as we see when men restrain their breath on some great sudden hest. Oh, what portents are these? Some heavy business hath my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not.
What oh! Hath Butler bid the horses from the sheriff?
One horse, my lord, he brought even now.
A roan. Crop here is enough.
It is, my lord.
That roan shall be my throne. Bid Butler lead him forth into the park.
But hear you, my lord.
What sayest thou, my lady?
What is it carries you away?
Why, it's my horse, love, my horse!
Out, you mad-headed ape! A weasel hath not such a deal of spleen as you are tossed with. In faith, I'll know your business, Harry, that I will. I fear my brother Mortimer doth stir about his title, and hath sent for you to line his enterprise. But if you go, you...
So far afoot, I shall be weary, love.
Oh, come, you periquito. Answer me directly unto this question that I ask. In faith, I'll break thy little finger, Harry, and if thou wilt not tell me all things true.
Away! Away, you trifler, love! I love thee not. I care not for thee, Kate. This is no world to play with mammoths and to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses and cracked crowns and pass them current too. God's me, my horse! What sayest thou, my lady? What wouldst thou have with me?
Do you not love me? Do you not indeed? Well, do not then, for since you love me not, I shall not love myself. Do you not love me? Nay, tell me whether you speak in jest or no.
Oh, come, come, wilt thou see me ride? And when I am a horseback, I will swear I love thee infinitely. But hark you, Kate, I must not have you question me whither I go, nor reason whereabout. Whither I must. And to conclude this evening, must I leave you, gentle Kate. I know you wise, but no wiser still than Harry, Percy's wife. Constant you are, but yet a woman. And for secrecy, no lady closer. For I well believe thou wilt not utter what thou dost not know, and so far will I trust thee, gentle Kate.
How? So far?
Not an inch further, but hark you, Kate. Whither I go, thither shall you go too. Today will I set forth, tomorrow you. Will this content you, Kate?
It must, of force.
Ed! My brother! Come on that fat room and lend thy hand to laugh a little.
Where's Big, Hal?
With 3 or 4 loggerheads amongst 3 or 4 score hogsheads. I have sounded the very bass string of humility. Sarah, I am a sworn brother to a list of drawers, and can call them by their own Christian names as Tom, Dick, and Francis. They take it already upon their salvation, though yet I be but Prince of Wales, yet I am the King of Courtesy, and tell me flatly that I am no prouder jack like Falstaff, but a Corinthian, a lad of metal, a good boy, and by the Lord, and so they call me, and when I am King of England, I shall command all the good lads of Eastcheap. I tell thee, Ned, thou hast lost much honor that thou art not with me in this action. But Ned, to sweeten the name of Ned, I give thee this poor pennyworth of sugar, clapped even now unto my hand by this very understinker, one who never spake other English in his life, other than, 6 shillings and 8 pence, and, you're welcome, Earl, with this shrill addition. Anon, sir. But, Ned, to drive away the time till Falstaff come, I prithee, do thou stand in some by-room, while I question my puny drawer to what end he gave me the sugar, and never cease by calling Francis to make his tale to me be nothing but anon. Step aside, I'll show thee precedent.
Francis!
Thou art perfect.
Francis!
Anon, sir! Look down into the palm garnet, Ralph.
Come hither, Francis.
My lord.
How long hast thou to serve, Francis?
Oh, forsooth, 5 years.
Francis!
And as much... anon, sir.
5 years, by a lady, a long life for clinking a pewter. But, Francis, darest thou to play the coward with thy indenture and show it a fair pair of heels and run from it?
Oh, Lord, sir, I'll be sworn upon all the books.
Francis!
Oh, anon, sir.
How old art thou, Francis?
Well, let me see. About Michaelmas next.
Francis!
Anon, sir, pray stay a little, my lord.
Hark ye, Francis, the sugar thou gavest me, 'twas pennyworth, was not?
Oh, Lord, I would it had been 2.
I will give you 1,000 pounds. Ask me when thou wilt, and thou shalt have.
Francis!
Anon!
Anon, Francis? Well, no, Francis, but on Thursday, Francis, or when thou wilt, but Francis.
My lord?
Darest thou to rob this leather jerkin?
Oh, Lord, sir, who do you mean?
Francis!
Away, you rogue! Does thou hear them call?
Francis!
What? Standst thou still and hearest such a calling? Look to the guests within. My lord, old Sir John and half a dozen more are at the door. Shall I let them in?
Prithee, let him alone a while, then open the door. Poins!
Anon!
Sarah, Falstaff and the rest of the thieves are at the door. Shall we be merry?
Oh, as merry as crickets, my lad. But what a cunning match you have made with this chest of the drawer.
Oh, what o'clock is it, Francis? Whatever the spell should have fewer words than a parrot, and yet the son of a woman. His industry is upstairs, downstairs. His eloquence is the parcel of a reckoning. I am not of Percy's mind. That Hotspur of the north that kills me and some 6 or 7 dozen Scots at a breakfast, washes his hands and says, fie upon this quiet life, I won't work. Prithee, call in Falstaff! Call in Ribs! Call in Tallow!
Welcome, Jack. Where hast thou been?
A plague of all cowards, I say, and a vengeance to Mary and Amen. Give me a cup of sack, boy. Ere I live this life long, I'll sew nether socks, and I'll mend them, and I'll foot them too. A plague of all cowards.
Does thou ever see a Titan kiss a dish of butter? Oh, pitiful-hearted Titan, that melted at the sun's sweet tail. If thou didst behold that compound.
You rogue! There's lime in this sack too. There's nothing but roguery to be found in villainous men. And a cup of sack is not as bad as a coward, a villainous coward.
Now, what sack, what sayest thou?
I am not one, but 3. There are 3 good men living unhanged in England, and one of them is fat and grows old. I would I were a weaver. I could sing psalms or anything. A plague of all cowards, I say!
How now, fatty? What mutter you?
A king's son! Ha! If I don't beat thee out of thy kingdom with a dagger of lath, and drive thy subjects afore thee like a flock of wild geese, then I'll never wear hair on my face more. Whew, you, Prince of Wales.
Why, you whoresome brown man, what's the matter?
Ugh. Are you not a coward? Answer me to that, and that Poins there.
Oh, you call me coward, you fat punch, I'll stab you.
I call thee coward. I'll see thee damned or I call thee coward. But I'll give 1,000 pounds I can run as fast as thou canst. Give me a cup of sack, boy. I'm a rogue if I have drunk.
Oh, villain, thy lips are scarce white since our drunks last.
All is one for that. A plague of all cowards, still say I.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? There be 4 of us here have ta'en 1,000 pounds this day morning.
Where is it, Jack? Where is it?
Where is it? Taken from us it is. 100 upon poor 4 of us.
What, 100, man?
I am a rogue. If I was not at half sword with 12 of them, 2 hours together. I have escaped by miracle. I'm 8 times thrust through the doublet, 4 times the hose, my buckler thrust through and through, and my sword was hacked like a handsaw. A plague of all cowards. Let them speak. If they speak not more or less than truth, then they are villains and the sons of darkness.
Speak, sirs, how was it?
We 4 set upon some dozen!
Yes, 16 at least, my lord.
And bound them. No, they were not bound.
Oh, you lie, you rogue, they're bound. Every man of them.
As we were sharing,
Every
some
man.
6 or 7 fresh men set upon us.
And unbound them, and then came in the other.
What fought you with them all?
Oh, I know not what you call all. But if I fought not with 50 of them, then I am a bunch of radish.
Pray God you have not murdered some of them.
Nay, that's past praying for. 2 of them I have peppered. I've paid 2 of them, I'm sure. 2 rogues in buckram suits. I tell thee what, Hal, if I tell thee a lie, spit in my face. Call me horse. Thou knowest my old ward. Here I lay, and thus I bore my point. 4 rogues in buckram let drive at me.
Or thou sayest but 2 even now.
4, I tell thee, how 4?
I 4, he said 4.
But these 4 came all affront and mainly thrust at me, but I made me no more ado, and took all 7 of their points, and my target thus.
7 now, but today is but 4 even now.
In buckram?
I 4 in buckram suits.
7 by these hilts, or I'm a villain else.
You let him alone. We'll have more anon.
Dost thou hear me, Hal?
Aye, and mark thee too, Jack.
Do so, for it is worth the listening to. These 9 in buckram I told thee of.
2 more already.
Their points being broken,
Down fell their hose.
began to give me ground, and I came in foot in hand, and with a thought, 7 of the 11 I paid. Ha!
Monstrous! But 11 buckram men grew out of 2.
But as the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten knaves in Kendall Green came at my back and let drive at me. Ah! But, oh, Hal, it was so dark, thou couldst not see thy hand.
These lies are like the father that begets them. Gross as the mountain. Open. Palpable. Why, thou clay-brained guts. Thou naughty-pated fool. Thou greasy tallow catch.
What? Art thou mad? Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?
Why, how canst thou see these men in Kendall Green when it was so dark that thou canst not see thy hand? Come, your reason, what sayest thou to this?
Your reason, Jack.
What? Upon compulsion? Now, zoons, when we're at the strappado and all the racks of the world, I'd give you no reason on compulsion. Reasons on compulsion? If reasons were as plentiful as blackberries, I'd give no man a reason on compulsion,
I will no longer be guilty of this sin. This sanguine coward, this bed presser, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of flesh,
Blood! You starveling! You elfskin! You dried neat's tongue! You stockfish! Oh, you bull's pizzle! You of the breath to utter what is like thee! You tailor's yard! You bowcase! You sheath! You vile standing tuck!
Oh, breathe a while, and when thou hast tired thyself in base comparisons, hear me but speak.
Mark! Jack!
We two saw you four set on two, and bound them, and were masters of their wealth. Now mark you, how a plain tale shall put you down. Then did we two set on you four, and outfaced you from your prize, and have it yea here in the house, and can show you. And, Falstaff, you carried your guts away as nimbly, with as much dexterity, as ever I heard bull calf. What a slave art thou to hack thy sword, which thou hast done, and say was done in What trick, what device, what starting hole canst thou now hide thyself from this open and apparent shame?
What trick? What trick hast thou now, Jack?
By the Lord, I knew ye as well as he that made ye. What? Hear me, my masters. Was it for me to kill the heir apparent?
No!
Should I turn upon the true prince? Oh, thou knowest that I'm as valiant as Hercules.
Oh, yeah.
But beware instinct! Oh, the lion touches not the true prince, but instinct is a great matter. Instinct, I was a coward now. On instinct. And I shall think the better of myself and of thee during my life. I for a valiant lion, and thou for a true prince. But by the Lord, lads, I'm glad you have the money! Hostess, clap to the doors. Watch tonight, pray tomorrow. Gentles, lads, boys, gallants, hearts of gold, all good titles of fellowship unto thee. What? Shall we be merry? Shall we have a play? Extempore.
Consent, and the argument shall be thy running away.
Oh, no more of that, how thou lovest me.
Prithee, my lord the prince.
My lady the hostess, what sayest thou to me?
There is a nobleman of the court at door would speak with you.
Oh!
He says he comes from your father.
Shall I give him his answer?
Prithee do, Jack.
Faith, I'll send him packing.
Now, sirs, you fought fair. So did you, Bardolph. So did you, Peto. You are lions, too. You will not touch the true prince, no fie.
Faith, I ran when I saw the others run. I blushed to hear his monstrous devices.
Well, here comes Lean Jack. Here comes Bare Bones. How now, my sweet creature of bombast, huh? Jack, tell us, how long's ago since thou sawest thy own knee?
My own knee?
Yeah.
When I was about thy years, how? But there is villainous news abroad. Here was Sir John Bracy from your father. You must to court in the morning. That same mad fellow from the north, Percy, and he of Wales, what a plague call you him?
Owen Glendower.
Owen the same, and his son-in-law Mortimer, and that old Northumberland, and that sprightly Scot of Scots, the Douglas, he that rides a horseback up a hill perpendicular. Well, he'll be there too, and one more day can 1,000 blue caps else. Worcester is stolen away tonight. Your father's hair is painted white at the news. Hal, art thou not horrible afeard? Thou being heir apparent, could not the world pick thee out 3 such enemies as that fiend Douglas, that spirit Percy, that devil Glendower? Art thou not horribly afraid? Does not thy blood thrill at it?
No, not a whit in faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, Thou wilt be horribly chid tomorrow when thou comest to thy father. If thou love me, practice an answer.
Do thou stand for my father and examine me upon the particulars of my life?
Should I? Content! This chair shall be my state. That dagger, my scepter. That cushion, my crown.
Thy state is taken for a jointed stool, thy scepter for a leaden dagger, and thy beautiful rich golden crown for a pitiful bald crown.
And now, if the fire of grace be not quite out of thee, now shalt thou be moved. Come, give me a cup of sack, that I might make my eyes look red, so it may be thought that I have webbed. For I must speak in passion, and I will do it in King Cambyses' vein.
Well, here's my leg.
Here is my speech. Stand aside, nobility.
He does it as like as one of those harlotry players as ever I've seen.
Peace, good pint pot. Peace, good ticklebrain. Harry, I do not only marvel at where thou spendest thy time, but at how thou art accompanied. For though the chamomile, the more it is trodden on, the faster it grows, so youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears. That thou art my son, I have partly thy mother's word, partly mine own opinion, but chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye, and a foolish hanging of thy nether lip doth warrant me. If then thou be son to me, here lies the point. What, being son to me, art thou so pointed at? Ha! Shall the son of England prove a thief, and take Percy? A question to be asked. There's a thing, Harry, which thou hast heard of, and many in the land know by the name of pitch. This pitch, as ancient writers do report, doth defile. So too doth the company thou keepest. For now, Harry, must I speak not in drink, but in tears, not in pleasures, but in passions, not in words only, but in woes also. Oh! And yet, there is a virtuous man that I have often noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of man, and 'tis like your majesty?
A goodly, portly man of faith, and a corpulent, with a cheerful look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble carriage. And now I remember me, his name is Falstaff. If he should be lewdly given, he deceiveth me. For Harry, I see virtue in his looks. Him keep with, the rest banish. And now, thou naughty varlet, tell me, where hast thou been this month?
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me, and I'll play my father.
Depose me? If thou dost it half so gravely, so majestically, both in word and matter, I'll hang me up like a poulterer's hair or a rabbit sucker.
Well, here am I set.
And here I stand, judge my masters.
Now, Harry, whence came you?
My lord, from East Cheap.
Hey! The complaints I hear of thee, Harry, are grievous.
Whoosh, blood! No, no, they are false, my lord. I'll tickle you for a young prince of faith.
Swearest thou, ungracious boy, henceforth may look on me. Thou art violently carried away from grace. There's a devil that haunts thee in the likeness of a fat old man. A ton of man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humours, that huge bloated hatched beast, that roasted manning for the ox with the pudding in his belly, that grey iniquity, that father ruffian? Wherein is he good but to chase sack and drink it? Wherein villainy but in all things? Wherein worthy but in nothing?
I would your grace would take me with you. Who means your grace?
Why, that villainous, abominable misleader of youth.
Falstaff! My lord, the man I know!
I know thou dost.
But it is to say, I know no more harm in him than in myself. It is to say, the more I know. That he is old, the more's the pity. His white hairs do witness it. That, saving your reverence, he is a whoremaster. I deny that, utterly. If sack and sugar be a fault, then God help the wicked. If to be old and merry be a sin, then many an old host I know is damned. No, my good lord. Banish Peter. Banish Bardolph. Banish Poins. But for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant as he is old Jack Falstaff, banish not him thy Harry's company. Banish not him thy Harry's company. Banish plump Jack, and banish all the world.
I do. I will.
My lord, the sheriff with the most monstrous watch is at the door!
Out, you rogue! Play out the play. I have more to say in behalf of this Falstaff.
My lord!
Hi, the devil rides upon a fiddlestick. What's the matter?
The sheriff and all the watch are at the door. They've come to search the house. Shall I let them in?
Dost thou hear, Hal? Never call a true piece of gold a counterfeit. Thou art essentially made without seeming so.
Thou art a natural coward without instinct.
I deny your major. But if you will deny the sheriff, so. If not, then let him enter. I do become a cart as well as a number man, I hope. I hope I shall at least be hanged by a halter as well as another.
Go hide thee up. The rest walk above. Now my masters for a show of true face and conscience.
Poins.
Call in the sheriff! Now, Master Sheriff, what's your will with me?
First, pardon me, my lord. A hue and cry hath followed certain men unto this house.
What men?
One of them is well known, my gracious lord, a gross fat man.
As bad as better.
The man I do assure you is not here, for I myself have employed him. And, Master Sheriff, he shall be answerable by dinner time tomorrow. So let me entreat you to leave this house.
I will, my lord. There are two gentlemen have in this robbery lost 300 marks.
300?
It may be so. If he had robbed these men, he shall be answerable. So farewell.
Oh, good night, my noble lord.
I think it be good morrow, 'tis not?
Indeed, my lord, I think it be 2 o'clock.
This oily rascal's known throughout Paul's. Go call him forth.
Falstaff! Fast asleep, snorting like a horse.
Oh, how hard he fetches breath. Search his pockets. Where's the fountain? Oh, monstrous, but one pennyworth of bread for this intolerable deal of sack. Oh, there, let him sleep till day. All to court in the morning. We must all to the wars. And thy place shall be honorable. And so be with me betimes in the morrow. And so farewell.
Farewell, my lord.
These promises are fair, the party sure, and our induction full of prosperous hope. Lord Edmund Mortimer, cousin Glendower, will you sit down?
Plague upon it, I have forgot the map.
No, here it is. Sit, Cousin Percy. Sit, good Cousin Hotspur. For by that name, as oft as Lancaster does speak of you, his cheek looks pale, and with a rising sigh he wisheth you in heaven.
And you in hell, as oft as he hears own Glendower spoken.
I cannot blame him. At my nativity, the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes of burning cressets, and at my birth the frame and huge foundation of the earth shaked like a coward.
Why, so it would have done at the same season if your mother's cat had but kittened, though you yourself had never been born.
I say the earth did shake when I was born.
And I say the earth was not of my mind, if you suppose as fearing you it shook.
The heavens were all on fire. The earth did tremble.
Why then the earth did tremble to see the heavens on fire, and not in fear of your nativity. Disease of nature oftentimes breaks forth in strange eruptions at your birth. Our grandmam earth, having this distemperature, in passion shook.
Cousin, of many men I do not bear these crossings. Give me leave to tell you once again that at my birth the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes. The goats ran from the mountains, and the herds were strangely clamorous to the frighted fields. These signs have marked me extraordinary, and all the courses of my life do show that I am not in the role of common men. Where is he living? Clipped in by the sea that chides the banks of England, Scotland, Wales, who calls me pupil or hath read to me. Bring him out, that is but woman's son can trace me in the tedious ways of art, and hold me pace in deep experiments.
I think there's no man speaks better Welsh. Out to dinner.
Oh, peace, Cousin Percy! You will make him mad.
I can call spirits from the vasty deep.
Why, so can I. Or so can any man, but will they come when you do call for them?
Cousin, I can teach you how to command the devil.
And I can teach thee, cause to shame the devil by telling truth. Tell truth, and shame the devil. If thou hast power to raise him, bring him hither, and I'll be sworn I have power to shame him hence. Oh, while you live, tell truth and shame the devil.
Oh, come, no more of this unprofitable chat.
3 times hath Henry Bolingbroke made head against my power. Thrice have I sent him bootless home and weather-beaten back.
Home without boots? And in foul weather, too? How scapes he agues? And in the devil's name, oh.
Come, here is the map. Shall we divide our right according to our threefold order ta'en?
The Archbishop hath divided it into 3 limits very equally. England, from south and west from Trent and Severn, is to my part assigned. Westward, Wales beyond the Severn shore, and all the fertile land within that bound to Owen, Glendower, and, dear cause to you, the remnant northward lying up from Trent. Tomorrow, Cousin Percy, you and I and my good Lord of Worcester will set forth to meet your father and the Scottish power, as is assigned to us at Shrewsbury. My father Glendower is not ready yet, nor shall we need his help these 14 days. In that time, methinks, you may gather your friends, tenants, and neighbouring gentlemen.
A shorter time shall send me to you, lords. And in my conduct shall your ladies come, from whom you now must steal and take no leave. For there will be a world of water shed at the parting of your wives and you.
Methinks my moiety north of Burton here in quantity equals not one of yours. See how this huge river comes me cranking in and cuts me from the best of all my land. A huge half moon, a monstrous cantle out. I'll have the current in this place dammed up, and here the smog and silver Trent will run in a new channel, fair and evenly. It shall not wind with such a deep intent to rob me of so rich a bottom here.
Not wind, shall. It must.
Yea, but mark
you see it doth.
Yea, but mark how it... Mark how it bears its course and winds me up with like advantage on the other side. Gelding the opposite continent as much as on the other side it takes from you.
Nay, but a little charge will trench him here, and on the north side win this cape of land, and then he runs straight and even.
I'll have it so. A little charge will do it.
I'll not have it altered.
Oh, will not you?
No, nor shall you not.
Who shall say me nay?
Why, that will I.
Let me not understand you, then. Speak it in Welsh.
I can speak English, Lord, as well as you.
Oh, Mary, and I am glad of it with all my heart. 'Tis like the forced gait of a shuffling nag.
Come, you shall have Trent turned.
I do not care. I'll give thrice so much land to any well-deserving friend, but in the name of bargain, Mark ye me, I'll cavil on the 9th part of a hair. Are the indentures drawn? Shall we be gone?
The moon shines fair, you may away by night. I'll haste the writing, and withal break with your wives of your departure hence. I am afraid my daughter will run mad, so much she doteth on her Mortimer.
Fie, cousin Percy! How you cross my father!
I cannot choose. Sometime doth he regale me of the Meldwerth and the Antor, of the dreamer Merlin and his prophecies, and such a deal of skibble-scabble stuff as puts me from my faith. Oh, he is as tedious as a tired horse, a railing wife, worse than a smoky house. I had rather live on cheese and garlic in a windmill far than dine on cates and have him talk to me in any summer house in Christendom.
In faith, he is an exceedingly worthy gentleman. Shall I tell you, cuz? He holds your temper in high regard, going so far as to curb his natural scope when you come across his humor. In faith, he does, but do not use it oft. Let me entreat you.
In faith, my lord, you are too willful, blade. And since you're coming hither, have done enough to put him quite besides his patience.
Well, I am schooled. Here come our wives. Let us take our leave.
This is the deadly spite that angers me. My wife can speak no English. I know Welsh.
And my daughter weeps. She will not part with you. She'll be a soldier too. She'll to the wars.
Good father, tell her that her and my sister Percy will follow in your conduct speedily.
Raidir milwir vunteno. Budachi a Lady Percy, and de lun is Jan Gudemi.
Gedoch, imi vond gedal nog, nid weven of ni.
Hedoch a gamenef nech. Na urin ioia cruad. Namina.
Hedoch akamoneth, ni vid, gen of hebben goord, oort the milby. Gedoch, imi vond gedochi, voetav und umlad oort echogerchi.
She is desperate here. A peevish, self-willed harlotry, one which no persuasion can do good upon.
Vongarian pariacha gadali din no comrade, Rani, my dinian un mendery fell my.
Do I understand thy looks? That pretty Welsh which thou pourest down from these swelling heavens, I am too perfect in, and but for shame in such a parley should I answer thee.
Vongarian pariacha gadali me.
I understand thy kisses, and thou mine, and that's a feeling disputation. But I'll never be a truant love till I've learned thy language. For thy tongue makes Welsh as pretty as did his highly pen.
Nay, if you Welsh, she will run mad.
O sno allaf, orgo hoiddi gydam gelia, efalla gallaf gyda chan. Dwch, gosod ec pen fy nglin y bwthaf, ond canw gan hwnnw o'r hwffiach chi.
Oh, I am ignorant itself in this.
She bids you on the wanton rushes lay you down, and rest your gentle head upon her lap, and she will sing the song that pleaseth you, and crown your eyelids with the god of sleep.
With all my heart I'll sit and hear her sing. By that time our book, I think, be drawn.
Do so. And those musicians that shall play for you hang in the air 1,000 leagues from hence, and soon they shall be here. Sit and attend.
Come, Kate, thou art perfect in laying down. Come, quick, that I may lay my head in thy lap. Methinks the devil understands Welsh, and 'tis no marvel he is so humorous, fair lady. He's a good musician.
Then you should be nothing but musical, for you are altogether governed by humor. Lie still, you thief, and hear the lady sing in Welsh.
I had rather lady, my brack, howl in Irish.
Wouldst thou have thy head broken?
No.
Then be still.
Neither. 'Tis a woman's fault.
Now God help thee.
To the Welsh lady's bed.
What's that?
Peace, she sings.
Rattle diddle dow, baldy rattle diddle dow, toodum dee rattle diddle dow. Docu there when wich gachenog, toodum dee rattle diddle dow. Galu garni sich drasser hog, toodum dee rattle diddle dow.
Kate, I love your song too.
Not mine, in good sooth.
Not yours in good sooth heart. You swear like a comfort maker's wife. Come, sing.
I will not sing.
'Tis the next way to turn tailor or red-breast teacher. And the indentures be drawn, I'll be away within these 2 hours. So, come in when you will.
Come, Lord Mortimer. You are as slow as hot Lord Percy is on fire to go. By this our book is drawn. We'll but seal and to horse immediately.
With all my heart.
I know not whether God will have it so for some displeasing service I have done, that in his secret doom out of my blood he'll breed revengement and a scourge for me. But thou dost in thy passages of life make me believe that thou art only marked for the hot vengeance and the rod of heaven to punish my mistreadings. Tell me else, could such inordinate and low desires, such poor, such bare, such lewd, such mean attempts, barren pleasures, rude society as thou art grafted to and matched withal, accompany the greatness of thy blood and hold their level with thy princely heart?
So please your majesty. I would I could quit all offenses with as clear excuse as much as I am willing I am charged withal. Find pardon of my true submission.
God pardon thee. Yet let me wonder, Harry, at thy affections, which do hold a wing quite from the flight of all thy ancestors. Thy place in council thou hast rudely lost, which by thy younger brother is supplied, and art almost an alien to the hearts of all the court and princes of my blood. The hope and expectation of thy time is ruined, and the soul of every man prophetically do forethink thy fall. Had I, so lavish of my presence been, so common hackneyed in the eyes of men, so stale and cheap to vulgar company, opinion that did help me to the crown, had still kept loyal to possession and left me in reputeless banishment, a fellow of no mark nor likelihood. By being seldom seen, I could not stir, but like a comet I was wondered at. Oh, the skipping king, he ambled up and down with shallow jesters and rash bavin wits, mingled his royalty with common fools, became a companion to the common streets, and faifed himself to popularity, that being daily swallowed by men's eyes, they surfeited with honey and began to loathe the taste of sweetness, whereof a little more than a little is by much too much. So, when he had occasion to be seen, he was but as the cuckoo is in June, heard, not regarded, seen, but with such eyes as, sick and blunted with community, afford no extraordinary gaze such as is bent on sun-like majesty. And in that very line, Harry, standest thou. For thou hast lost thy princely privilege with vile participation. Not an eye, but as a weary of thy common sight, save mine, which hath desired to see thee more. And now, thus that I would not have it do, make blind itself with foolish tenderness.
I shall hereafter, my thrice gracious lord, be more myself.
For all the world! As thou art to this hour, was Richard then when I from France set foot at Ravensburg, and even as I was then is Percy now. For by my scepter and my soul to boot, he hath more worthy interest to the state than thou, the shadow of succession. For no right, nor shadow like to right, he doth fill fields with harness in the realm, turns head against the lion's armed jaw, and being no more in debt to years than thou, leads ancient lords and reverend bishops on to bloody battles and to bruising arms. Thrice hath this Hotspur, Mars in swaddling clothes, discomfited great Douglas, ta'en him once, enlarged him, and made a friend of him, to fill the mouth of deep defiance up, and shake the peace and safety of our throne. And what say you to this? Percy, Northumberland, his Archbishop Grace of York, Mortimer, Glendower, participate against us and are up! But wherefore do I tell these news to thee? Why, Harry, do I tell thee of my foes, which art my nearest and dearest enemy? Thou that art like enough, through vassal fear, base participation in a start of spleen, to fight against me under Percy's pay, to dog his heels, curtsy at his frowns, show how much thou art degenerate.
Do not think so. You shall not find it so. And God forgive them that have so much swayed your majesty's good thoughts away from me. I will redeem this all on Percy's head, and in the closing of some glorious day be bold to tell you that I am your son, when I will wear a garment all of blood, and stained my favors in a bloody mask, which washed away shall scour my shame with it. And that shall be the day where it lights, that this same child of honor and renown, this gallant Hotspur, this all-appraising knight, and your unthought of Harry, chance to meet. For every honor sitting on his helm, would they were multitudes, and on my head my shames redoubled. For there will come a time, my liege, where I will make this northern youth exchange his glorious deeds from my indignities. Percy is but my factor, good my lord, to engross up glorious deeds on my behalf, and I will call him to so strict account that he shall render every glory up, yea, even the slightest worship of his time, or I will tear the reckoning from his heart. I do beseech your majesty may salve the long-grown wounds of my intemperance. If not, the end of life cancels all bans, and I will die 100,000 deaths ere break the slightest parcel of this vow.
100,000 rebels die in this. Thou shalt have charge, and sovereign trust herein. How now, good Blunt? Thy looks are full of speed.
So hath the business that I come to speak of. Lord Mortimer of Scotland hath sent word that Douglas and the English rebels met the 11th of this month at Shrewsbury. A mighty and a fearful head they are, if promises be kept on every hand, as ever offered foul play in a state.
My Lord Westmoreland set forth today, with him my son, Lord John of Lancaster, for this advertisement is 5 days old. Harry, on Wednesday next you shall set forward. On Thursday we ourselves shall march. Our hands are full of business. Let's away. Advantage feeds him fat, while men delay.
Bardolph! Have I not fallen away vilely since this last action? Do I not bait? Do I not dwindle? Oh, my skin hangs about me as loose as an old lady's gown. I'm withered like an old apple, John. Oh, well, I'll repent. Company! Villainous company has been the spoil of me.
Why, Sir John, you are so fretful you cannot live long.
Oh, come, sing me a bawdy song. Make me merry. I was as virtuously given as a nobleman ought to be. Virtuous enough. Swore little. Diced not above 7 times a week. Went to a bawdy house not above once in a quarter of an hour. Paid money I borrowed 3 or 4 times. And lived in good compass and in good order, and now I live out of all order, out of all compass.
Why, you are so fat, Sir John, that you must needs be out of all compass, out of all reasonable compass, Sir John.
Do thou amend thy face, and I'll amend my life. Ha! How now, Dame Partlet the hen? Have you figured who picked my pocket?
Why, Sir John? What do you think, Sir John? Do you think I keep thieves in my house? I have searched. I have inquired. I know you, Sir John. You owe me money, Sir John, and now you pick a quarrel to beguile me of it.
He had his part in it. Let him pay.
Oh, he? Alas, he is poor. He hath nothing.
Oh, how poor? Look upon his face. What call you rich? Let Let them coin his nose. Let them coin his cheeks. I'll not pay a denier. Shall I not take mine ease in mine inn, and have my pocket picked? I've lost a seal ring of my grandfather's, worth 40 mark.
Oh, I have heard the prince tell him, I know not how oft that ring was copper.
Oh, the prince is a jack, a sneak-up, and were he here, I would cudgel him like a dog if he were to say so. How, lad? What, is the wind in that door of faith? Must we all march?
Yea, 2 and 2, Newgate fashion.
Pray you, my lord, hear me.
My lady the hostess, what sayest thou to me?
Good my lord, hear me.
Let her alone, Hal, and listen to me.
What sayest thou, Jack?
I slept here the other night and had my pocket picked. This house is turned bawdy house. They pick pockets.
What did thou lose?
Wilt thou believe me? 3 or 4 bonds of 40 pounds apiece, and a seal ring of my grandfather's.
A trifle, some 8-penny matter.
So I told him, my lord, and he speaks most vilely of you, and he said he would cudgel you.
Oh.
What? He did not.
There's neither faith, nor truth, nor womanhood in me else.
There's no more faith in thee than a stewed prune. Go, you thing, go!
Say what thing? What thing, thou knave?
Why, a thing to thank God on!
Oh. I am no thing to thank God on, and I would thou should know it. I am an honest man's wife, and thou, setting thy knighthood aside, art a knave to call me so.
Setting thy womanhood aside, thou art a beast to say otherwise.
A beast? Say what beast, thou knave, thou?
What beast? Why, an otter.
An otter? Why an otter, Sir John?
Well, she's neither fish nor flesh. A man knows not where to have her.
No! Thou art an unjust man in saying so. Thou, or any man, knows where to have me, thou knave, thou.
I'll say it's true, and he slanders thee most grossly.
So he doth you, my lord, and he said this other day you owe him 1,000 pounds.
Sirrah, do I owe you 1,000 pounds?
1,000 pound, Hal? 1,000,000? Thou owest me thy love. Thy love is worth 1,000,000.
Nay, my lord, he called you Jack and said he would cudgel you.
Did I, Bardolph?
Indeed, Sir John, you said so.
I said if he said my ring was copper.
I say 'tis copper. Darest thou to be as good as thy word now?
Why, Hal, as thou knowest me, as thou art man, I dare. But as thou art prince, I fear thee like I fear the roaring of the lion's whelp.
Charge an honest woman for picking my pocket.
Hostess, I forgive thee. Prithee, be gone.
Why, you whoresome, impudent, oily-faced rascal. If there were anything but in thy pockets but tavern reckonings, memorandums of bawdy houses, and 1 poor pennyworth of sugar candy to make thee long-winded, art thou not ashamed?
You confess, then, that you picked my pocket.
It appears so as the story goes.
Ah! And now, to the business of court, the robbery. How art we answered?
Oh, my sweet beef, I must be good angel to thee. I pay back the money in full.
I like not this paying back again. 'Tis a double labor.
I'm good friends with my father, and may do anything.
Rob me the exchequer the next thing thou dost, and do it with unwashed hands, too.
Do, my lord!
I procure thee, Jack, a charge of foot.
I would it were of horse.
Bardolph,
My lord!
take this letter to my Lord John of Lancaster, to my brother John. Hey, this to my Lord of Westmoreland. Poins, to horse, for thou and I have 30 miles to ride at our dinner time. Jack, meet me tomorrow night in the Temple Hall at 2 o'clock. There shall have money for thy charge and order for their furniture. The land is burning, and Percy is on high. Either we or they must lower lie.
Rare words! Brave world! Rah! Hostess, my breakfast, come! Oh, I could wish this tavern were my drum.
Well said, my noble Scot. If speaking truth in this fine age were not thought flattery, such attribution should the Douglas have, not as a soldier of this season's stamp, as so goes general current through the world. By God, I cannot flatter. I do defy the tongues of soothers, but A braver place in my heart's love hath no man than yourself. Nay, task me to my word. Approve me, Lord.
Thou art the king of honor. No man shall put and praise upon the ground, but I will bear him.
Ah, do so, and 'tis well. What letters hast thou here?
These letters come from thy father.
Why comes he not himself?
He cannot come, my lord. He is grievous sick.
I prithee tell me, doth he keep his day?
He did, my lord, 4 days ere I set forth, and at the time of my departure thence, he was much feared by his physicians.
I wish the state of time had first been whole, ere he by sickness had been visited. His health was never better worth than now.
Sick now! Droop now! This sickness doth infect the very lifeblood of our enterprise. Yet does he give us bold advertisement that with our small conjunction we should on to see how fortune is despoiled to us. For as he writes, there is no quailing now, for the king is certainly possessed of all our purposes. What say you to it?
Your father's sickness is a maim to us.
Perilous gash, very limb lopped off, and yet, in faith, it is not. Were it good to set the exact wealth of all our states all at one cast, to set so rich a main upon the nice hazard of one doubtful hour, it were not good.
And yet, I wish your father had been here. The quality and hair of our attempt brooks no division. It will be thought, by some that know not why he is away, that wisdom, loyalty, and mere dislike of our proceedings have kept the Earl from hence. And think how such an apprehension may turn the tide of fearful faction, putting a kind of question in our cause. This absence of your father's draws a curtain that shows the world a kind of fear before not dreamt of.
Yet all goes well. Yet all our joints are whole.
As heart can think. There is not such a term spoke of in Scotland as this word of fear.
Oh, Cousin Vernon, welcome by my soul.
Pray God my news be worth a welcome, Lord. The Earl of Westmoreland, 7,000 strong, is marching hitherwards, with him Prince John.
No harm. What more?
And further I have learned the king himself in person is set forth, or hitherwards intended speedily with strong and mighty preparation.
He shall be welcome to. Where is his son, that nimble-footed madcap, Prince of Wales, and his comrades that daft the world aside and bid it pass?
All furnished, all in arms. I saw young Harry with his beaver on, his cuirasses on his thighs gallantly armed, rise from the ground like feathered Mercury, and vaulted with such ease into his seat, as if an angel had come down from the clouds to turn and wind a fiery Pegasus, and witch the world with noble horsemanship.
No more, no more. Worse than the sun in March, this praise doth nourish agues. Let them come. Come, let me taste my horse, who's to bear me like a thunderbolt against the bosom of the Prince of Wales. Harry to Harry shall meet, and ne'er part to one droop down a course. Oh, the Glendower will come.
There is more news. I learned in Worcester as I rode along, he cannot draw his power this 14 day.
Oh, this is the worst tidings I hear of yet.
This bears a frosty sound.
What may the king's whole battle reach unto?
To 30,000.
40 let it be. Come, let us muster speedily. Doomsday is near. Die all, die merrily. Look they not for supply?
So do we.
His is certain, ours is doubtful.
Fight not with him tonight.
Pray, cousin, be advised, stir not tonight.
I will fight with him tonight.
It may not be.
His is certain, ours is doubtful.
The number of the king exceedeth ours.
I come with gracious offers from the king, if you vouchsafe me hearing and respect.
Welcome, Sir Walter Blunt. And would to God you were of our determination.
And God defend, but still I should stand so long as out of limit and true rule you stand against anointed majesty. But to my charge, the king hath sent to know the nature of your griefs, and whereupon you conjure from the breast of civil peace such bold hostility, teaching his duteous land audacious cruelty, if that the king have any your good deserts forgot, which he confesseth to be manifold, he bids you name your griefs, and with all speed you shall have your desires with interest, and absolute pardon for yourself And these herein misled by your suggestion.
The king is kind. And well we know the king knows when to promise, when to pay. My father and my uncle and myself did give him that same royalty he wears, when he were not 26 strong, sick in the world's regard, wretched and low, a poor, out-minded outlaw sneaking home. My father bid him welcome to the shore.
Tut! I came not to hear this.
Then to the point! Shortly after he deposed the king, soon after that deprived him of his life, and in the neck of that tasked the whole state. To make matters worse, suffered my kinsman March, who, if every owner were well placed, is indeed his king, to lie engaged in Wales. There, without ransom, to lie forfeited. Disgraced me in my happy victories, sought to entrap me by intelligence, rated mine uncle from the council board, in rage dismissed my father from the court, broke oath on oath, committed wrong on wrong, and in conclusion drove us to seek out this head of safety, and withal to pry into his title, the which we find too indirect for long continuance.
Shall I return this answer to the king?
Not so, Sir Walter. Go to the king, and there let be impawned upon him some surety for a safe return again, and in the morning shall mine uncle come and deliver him to our purposes. And so farewell.
I would you would accept of grace and love.
And maybe so we shall.
Pray God you do.
How bloodily the sun begins to peer above yon bulky hill. The day grows pale at his distemperature.
The southern wind doth play trumpet to his purposes, and the howling whistling of the leaves foretells a tempest and a blustering day.
Then with the losers let it sympathize, for nothing can seem foul to those who win.
My lord.
How now, my lord of Worcester? 'Tis not well that you and I should meet upon such terms as now we meet. You have deceived our trust, and made us doff our easy robes of peace to crush our old limbs in ungentle steel. This is not well, my lord, this is not well. Will you again unknit this churlish knot of war, and move in that obedient orb again, where you did give a fair and natural light, and be no more an exhaled meteor, a prodigy of fear, and a portent of broached mischief to the unborn time?
Hear me, my liege. For my own part, I could be well content to entertain the lag end of my life with quiet hours. For I protest, I have not sought the day of this dislike.
You have not sought it. How comes it then?
Rebellion lay in his way, and he found it.
Peace to it, peace.
It pleased your majesty to turn your looks of favor from myself and all our house. And yet I must remember you, my lord. We were the first and dearest of your friends. For you, my staff of office did I break in Richard's time, and posted day and night to meet you on the road and kiss your hand. It was myself, my brother and his son, that brought you home and boldly did outdare the danger of the time. You swore to us, and you did swear that oath at Doncaster, that you did nothing claim against the state, nor more than your seat of Gaunt, dukedom of Lancaster. To this we swore our aid. But in short time it rained down fortune, showering on your head, and such a flood of greatness fell on you, you took occasion to be quickly wooed, to gripe the general sway into your hand, forgot your oath to us at Doncaster, and being fed by us, you used us so, as that ungentle gull, the cuckoo's bird, useth the sparrow, did oppress our nest, grew by our feeding to so great a bulk, that e'en our love durst not come near your sight, for fear of swallowing, but with nimble wing, we were enforced for safety's sake to fly out of your sight, and raise this present head, whereby we stand opposed now, by such means as you yourself have raised against yourself, by unkind usage, dangerous countenance, and violation of all faith and troth sworn to us in your younger enterprise.
These things indeed you have articulate, proclaimed at market crosses, read in churches, deface the garment of rebellion with some fine color that may please the eye of fickle changelings and poor discontents, which gape and rub the elbow at the news of hurly-burly innovation. And never yet Did insurrection want such watercolors to impede his cause?
In both your armies there is many a soul shall pay full dearly for this encounter, if once they join in trial. Tell your nephew, the Prince of Wales, that join in all the world in praise of Harry Percy. By my hopes, there is no one alive more valiant young than is now alive to grace this latter days with noble deeds. For my part, I may speak it to my shame. I have a truant been to chivalry, and so I hear he account me to it. Yet this before my father's majesty, I am content that he shall take the odds and estimation of his great name, and will, to save the blood on either side, try fortune with him in single fight.
And Prince of Wales, so dare we venture thee, albeit considerations infinite do make against it. No, good Worcester, no. We love our people well, even those we love that are misled upon your cousin's part. And will they take the offer of our grace, both he and they and you? Yea, every man shall be my friend, and I'll be his. So tell your cousin and bring word what he will do. But if he will not yield, rebuke and dread correction wait upon us, and they shall do their office. So be gone. We will not now be troubled with reply. We offer fair. Take it advisedly.
It will not be accepted by my life. The Douglas and the Hotspur are both together confident against the world in arms.
Then every leader to his charge, for on their answer do we set on them. And God befriend us as our cause is just!
Yay! How? If thou seest me down in battle and bestride me so, 'tis a point of friendship.
Nothing but a colossus can do thee that friendship now. Say thy prayers and farewell.
I would 'twere bedtime and all well, Hal.
Well, thou owest God a death, Jack.
'Tis not due yet. I would be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with him that calls not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honor pricks me on. Rah! And how if honor prick me off when I come on? How then? Can honor set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. Honor hath no skill in surgery, then. No. What is honor? Air. Ha! What is that word? Honor. A trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday. Can he feel it? No. Doth he hear it? No. 'Tis insensible then? Yea! To the dead. But does it not live on with the living? Yeah! No! Why? Detraction will not suffer it. Therefore I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon. So ends my catechism.
Oh no, my nephew must not know, Sir Richard, the liberal and kind offer of the king.
For best he did.
Then are we all undone. It is not possible. It cannot be. The king will keep his word in loving us. He will suspect us still, and find time to punish this offense and other faults. My nephew's trespass may be well forgot. It hath the excuse of youth and heat of blood, and an adopted name of privilege, a harebrained Hotspur governed by a spleen. All his offenses lie upon my head. Therefore, good cousin, let not Richard know in any case the offer of the king.
Well, deliver what you will, I'll say just so. Here comes your cousin.
Oh, my uncle has returned. Uncle, what news?
The king will bid you battle presently.
Defy him.
Go you, and tell him so.
Marry.
Concham, and very willingly.
There is no seeming mercy in the king.
Did you beg any? God forbid.
Oh, I told him gently of our grievances, of his oath-breaking, which he mended thus. by now forswearing that he is forsworn. He called us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arm this hateful name in us.
Arms, gentlemen, to arms! For I have thrown a brave defiance in King Henry's teeth, and Westmoreland that was engaged did bear it, which cannot choose but bring it quickly on.
The Prince of Wales stepped forth before the king, and nephew challenged you to single fight.
Oh, would that the conflict lay on our heads, and that no man might draw short breath today, but I and Harry Monmouth. Tell me, how showed me in his tasking? Seemed it in contempt?
No. By my life, I never did hear a challenge urged more modestly. He gave you all the duties of a man, and chid his truant youth with such a grace. Oh, there did he pause. But let me tell the world, if he do outlive the envy of this day, England did never owe so sweet a hopes, so much misconstrued in his wantonness.
Cousin, I think thou art enamored. Arm! Arm with speed! And fellows, soldiers, friends, better consider what you have to do than I, that hath not the gift of tongue, can lift your blood up with persuasion.
My lord, here are letters for you.
I cannot read them now. Gentlemen, the time of life is short, and if we live to tread on kings. If die, brave death when princes die with us. Now for our consciences, the arms are fair when the cause that bears them is just.
My lord, prepare! The king comes on apace!
I thank him that cuts me from my tale, for I profess not talking. Only this, let each man do his best. And here, I draw a sword whose blood I intend to stain with the best blood that I can meet withal in the adventure of this perilous day. Now, Esperance! Percy! And set on! Sound all the lofty instruments of war, and by that music, let us all embrace. For heaven to earth, some of us never yet a second time shall do such a courtesy.
What is thy name, that in the battle dost thou crossest me? What honor dost thou seek upon my head?
Know that I am the Douglas, and I do haunt thee in the battle thus, because some tell me that thou art the king.
They tell thee true.
This act shall end thee, unless thou yield thee as my prisoner.
I was not born a yielder, thou proud Scot!
Die! Oh, Douglas! Hadst thou fought at Halmondon thus, I never would have triumphed on a
All's
Scot.
done! All's one hail breathless lies the king!
This? No, Douglas. This is not the king. A gallant knight he was. His name was Blunt, semblably furnished like the king himself.
Fool, go with thy soul whither it goes! A borrowed title hast thou bought too dear! Why did they tell me thou wert the king?
The king hath many marching in his coats.
By my axe, I'll kill all his coats! I'll murder all his wardrobe piece by piece, till I come upon the king! Up and away!
Oh, jeez! Though I could escape the shot free at London, I fear the shot here. Ooh, here's no scoring but upon the pate. Oh, but who are you? Sir Walter Blunt. There's honor for you. Here's no vanity. But who comes here?
What? Standest thou idle here? Lend me thy sword. Many a nobleman lies stark and stiff, whose deaths are not yet revenged. I prithee, give me thy sword.
How? Oh, I prithee, give me leave to breathe a while. Turk Gregory never did such deeds in arms as I have done this day. I've paid Percy. I've made him, sure. Yea.
He is indeed living and to kill thee. I prithee, give me thy sword.
Oh, but by the Lord, Hal, if Percy be alive, thou getst not my sword. Take my pistol if thou wilt. 'Tis hot, 'tis hot. As I will sack a city.
What? Is it time to jest and dally now?
I like not this grinning honor Sir Walter hath. Give me life, if I can save it. So, if not, honor comes unlooked for. And there's an end.
I prithee, Harry, withdraw thyself. Thou bleedest too much. Lord John of Lancaster, go you with him.
Not I, my lord, unless I do bleed too.
I do beseech your majesty make up, lest your retirement do remaze your friends.
I will do so. My cousin Westmoreland, lead him to his tent.
My lord, let me lead you to your tent.
Lead me, my lord? I need not your help. And God forbid a shell of scratch should drive the Prince of Wales from such a field as this.
We breathed too long. Come, cousin Westmoreland, our duty this way lies. For God's sake, come!
Thou hast deceived me, Lancaster. I did not know thee such a lord of spirit. I love thee as a brother, but now I do respect me as my soul.
I saw him hold Lord Percy at the point with lustier maintenance than I did look for of such an ungrown warrior.
Oh, this boy lends metal to us all, my lord.
Another king! They grow like Hydra's heads. I am the Douglas, fatal to all those who wear those colours on them. Who art thou? A counterfeit the person of a king.
The king himself. Who, Douglas, grieves at heart? So many of his shadows hast thou met, and not the very king. I have 2 boys seek Percy and thyself about the field. But seeing as thou fall'st on me so readily, I will assail thee and defend thyself.
I fear thou art another counterfeit. And yet, in faith, thou bearest thyself like a king. But, whoever thou art mine. And so, I win thee.
Hold up thy head! Or never hold it up again! It is the Prince of Wales that threatens thee, who never promises, but means to pay. Surely, my lord, how fares your grace?
Stay and breathe a while. Thou hast redeemed thy lost opinion.
Oh, that they did me too much injury, that ever said I hearken for your death.
Make up to Clifford, I'll to Sir Nicholas Gauzy.
Thou speakst to me as I would deny my name.
My name is Harry Percy.
Well, then I see a very valiant rebel by that name. I am the Prince of Wales. And think not, Harry, to join in glory with me any more. 2 stars keep not their motion in one sphere, nor can one England brook a double reign of Harry Percy and the Prince of Wales.
Nor shall it, Harry. For the time has come to end one of us. And would to God your name in arms were now as great as mine.
I'll make it greater ere I part from thee, and all thy honor sitting on thy crest. I'll make a garland to wear upon my head.
I can no longer brook thy vanities.
To it, Hal! Ha! Woo! Nay, you'll find no more boys' play here, I can assure you.
Douglas!
Jesus!
Harry! Thou hast robbed me of my youth! I better broke the laws of brittle life than those proud titles thou hast won of me. They wound my thoughts worse than thy sword my flesh! The thoughts the slaves of life, and lifetime's fool, and time that takes survey of all the world must have a stop. Oh, I could prophesy that the earthy and cold hand of death lies still on my tongue. Percy, thou art dust, and food for worms, brave Percy.
Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk? When that this life did contain a spirit, a kingdom was too small a bound. But that the 2 vilest paces of earth are room enough for thee. Let my favors hide thy mangled face. What, old acquaintance? Could not all this flesh keep in a little life? Or Jack farewell. I will have a heavy miss of thee. If I were much in love with vanity, death had not so struck a fat deer today. No many deer in this bloody fray. In bowels will I see thee by and by. Till then in blood, my noble Percy lie.
Emboweled? If thou see me emboweled today, I'll give you leave to powder me and eat me too tomorrow. Sblood! 'Twas time that I counterfeit, or that hot termagant Scot had paid me, Scot and lot too. Counterfeit. I lie. I am no counterfeit. The better part of valor is discretion. in the which better part I have saved my life. But why may not he rise as well as I? Huh? Therefore, I'll make him sure, yea, and I'll swear I killed him. Now, come you along with me.
Come, Brother John. Fully bravely hast thou fleshed thy maiden sword.
But soft, whom have we here? Did you not tell me this fat man was dead?
I did. I saw him breathless and bleeding on the ground. Art thou alive? Speak! We will not trust our eyes without our ears. Thou art not what thou seemst to be.
Nay, that's certain. If I be not a double man, then I be Jack Falstaff, or I'm a Jack. Oh, there's Percy. If your father looks to do me any honor, so. If not, then he can kill the next Percy himself. Rah! I look to be either Earl or Duke, I can assure you.
Why, Percy, I killed myself and saw thee dead.
Didst thou? Oh, Lord, Lord, how this world is given to lying. Oh, I gave him this wound in the thigh. If the man were to rise and deny it, I'd make him eat a piece of my sword.
This is the strangest tale that ever I heard.
This is the strangest fellow, Brother John. Come, bear your luggage nobly on your back. If a lie may do thee grace, I'll gild it with the best terms I have. The day is ours! Come, brother, away! Let us to the highest of the field, to see which friends are living and who are dead.
I'll follow, as they say, for reward. He who rewards me, God reward him. If I do grow great, I'll grow less. For I'll purge and leave sack and live cleanly as a nobleman should do.
Thus ever did rebellion find rebuke. Ill-spirited Worcester, did not we send grace, pardon, and terms of love to all of you, and wouldst thou turn our offers contrary? 3 knights upon our party slain today, a noble earl, and many a creature else had been alive this hour, if, like a Christian, thou hadst truly borne betwixt our armies true intelligence.
What I have done, my safety urged me to, and I embrace this fortune patiently, since not to be avoided, it falls on me.
Bear Worcester to the death, and Vernon too. Other offenders we will pause upon. How goes the field?
The noble Scot, the Lord Douglas, when he saw his day, quite turned from him. The noble Percy slain, and all his men are scattered. At my tent the Douglas is, and I do beseech your majesty I may dispose of him.
With all my heart.
Then you, Brother John of Lancaster, this honorable duty I discharge. Go to the Douglas and deliver him up, ransomless and free.
I thank your grace for this high courtesy.
Then this remains, that we divide our power. You, son John, and cousin Westmoreland, towards York shall bend you with your dearest speed to meet Northumberland and the prelate's group, who, as we hear, are busily in arms. You, son Harry, and myself, will towards Wales to fight Glendower and the Earl of March. Rebellion in this land shall lose his sway, meeting the check of such another day. And since this business so fair is done, let us not leave till all our own be won!
Thank you, everyone.